Welcome to Big Blend Radio, where we celebrate variety and how it adds spice to quality of life. So happy winter, y'all. Welcome to the Big Daily Blend Show. Every fourth Sunday. We have Joey Stuckey here, who's an amazing musician, guitarist, recording artist. Oh my. He is the music ambassador of Macon, Georgia, which is the capital of Southern rock. We have him here. You can go to joeystuckey.com. And we also have travel writer, podcaster, photographer, Joe Clark, and she goes by Have Glass Will Travel. So check out that website, haveglasswilltravel.com. But there's also her podcast and her Instagram handle, which is Joe Goes Everywhere. She's got a glass in hand. And also her other website, Recipes, Travel, Culture. And Joe is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that area. So we're kind of going south for winter. And winter solstice was yesterday. Today is winter. So happy winter, y'all. How are you?
I'm doing great.
How are you doing, Joe?
It's nice and warm here, so I'm perfectly happy. All the snowbirds come south for the winter.
They do.
That's good. That's good. So the South, let's go to you, Joey. In Macon, because we got to see you this year, which was one of the greatest presents for the year of 2024, was we got to personally meet Joey. We tried to meet Joe. That didn't happen, but it will, because we're coming back your way. We're making our way back as we speak to y'all. But Joey, we got to meet you in Macon, see your amazing studio, and just love that building and everything you've done in it for musicians and just to keep the integrity of the building. The downtown is so charming. You even have a piano downtown. What is it like in the holiday spirit? Do they go all out and decorate? Do they have shows? What's going on?
Yeah. So there's a ton of Christmas lights that they put up in downtown Macon and over several streets. And they have, there's more. It seems like there's more every year. And they have actually, there's actually some static decorations, of course, but there's also some lights that are synchronized with music. And about every half hour there's a little, 10 or 15 minute, light and music display that goes on. And it starts, I think they switch them on about 6 p.m. and it runs until about 11 p.m., something like that. And there's lots of families just walking around enjoying the lights and the music, and it's really great. And so I love it. I mean, they've been doing this now I think this is the 4th or 5th year, and it just seems to get bigger every single year. The interesting thing is that here in the South, you don't really know what the weather's going to be like. It might be really cool, it might be warm, and so it's sometimes you have Christmas that doesn't feel like Christmas, because I like a cold Christmas. I don't like snow in Macon, and the reason I don't like snow in Macon is because people do not know how to handle the snow. They go and wipe out the grocery stores if there's snow in town. You can't get bread, you can't get milk, you can't get eggs. People just act like it's some kind of apocalypse. They don't know how to drive in the snow. So I don't like snow here because of that reasons, but I do like a crisp winter evening. And to be out and about in that beautiful weather. And as Patrick Stewart says in the Christmas Carol, it's that cold weather that's that's piping for the blood to dance to. So I love those cool crisp evenings and being out among the lights and all that kind of good stuff. So it's really fun. And here in Atlanta, which is about an hour north of where I am, they have a couple of German Christmas markets. So there's some really fun. And then there's Helen, Georgia, that is a mountain town that's very much like an alpine sort of village where you could go and do Christmas things too. So there's a lot of great things here in Georgia to do.
I love that, and of course your food. Let's not even get started there. I mean, oh yes. Boy, I'm going to think Pecans. Okay, Joe,
There's
we had pecans in Macon.
yeah,
Peaches and pecans.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's my dad's favorite pie. There's a fight between people about whether it's pecan or pecan, and most of my family says pecan, but that makes me think of pea in a can.
Yeah.
So I always say pecan, but I'm an outlier.
That's because you go to England all the time. You're trying to
Yeah,
be la-di-da. Well, no,
uh,
see, Joe and I talked about this on her recent podcast. She's on, Joe Goes Everywhere is every
absolutely,
second
yeah.
Sunday. And she talked about, Christmas in her area. And we got into the pecan. And I think you're peeing in a can too, Joe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We say, do you take the trash con to the street each week?
That's true. That's true. I mean, you got a point. I mean, the way it's spelled, it certainly looks like can. I mean,
Mm.
so but I've always said pecan. I don't know why. And my
You're
both.
just snootier than the rest of
I
us.
really, yeah.
He's la-di-da. I'm telling you,
I
he
am.
loves
I am.
England. He's
I'm a.
la-di-da.
I'm a sun-dried tomato eating la-di-da-di-la-di-da.
Oh, wait, but you had mince
A
pies the other time.
sun-dried
Yeah.
tomato and pecan.
That's right. Yeah, no, I do love the mince pies. And
Mm.
I have been enjoying those. I ordered them from a catalog, the Vermont Country Store catalog, and I get them, and they're fantastic. And they remind me the thing that's so exciting about them. I'd never really had them until I was in England in 2022, and I was in the UK, and we were there in late November, and we saw A Christmas Carol at the Old Vic, and they had free mince pies for you to enjoy.
Ooh, nice.
And so I had them, and they were delicious. And then we saw A Christmas Carol again. We were there again in time to see it at the Old Vic again in 2023. And so they had them again. So this year we weren't there. I was very sad that we just didn't have to be in town to see it because we'd seen A Christmas Carol 2 years in a row at the Old Vic, and it was absolutely magical. So I said, man, I've got to order a bunch of mince pies so I can at least pretend that we're
Well,
back.
but that's amazing, man, when you think about what that you can even get them, back in the day
Yeah,
we
no,
weren't able to
well,
import,
and the other thing is, back in 2021, I think I tried the Stollen for the first time, the German
Mm.
confection. So now those are my holiday. We have holiday food here. From the German Stollen. We have our very thin, very crisp ginger snaps that we love, and of course now we've got the mince pies. So we have quite the festive holiday confectionaries in the house, and that's my favorite thing about the holidays is all these fun foods that you don't have the rest of the time of year, and people are always sending you baskets or sending you pies or sending you cakes or in the South
Mm.
we really do a lot of we say we love you with food.
Yeah. Well, no, and stolen. I had the best stolen I've had is Three Rivers, California, at Reimer's Candy Store, Candy and Gifts, and they have a Santa Claus or a Christmas shop that is year round. This
Yeah,
is right at the entrance of Sequoia National Park, and they make a killer stolen.
nice.
Yeah, and we went and filmed them actually making it. And
Oh, cool.
this is, and they put in this ovens, and it's this family recipe that's passed down, and it is really cool. I got to go to Joe though. I mean, because now I just ventured out of the South. Um, but I know
Yeah,
you
we got to
guys make
reel her
some good
back
food.
in. She's off in California.
I know. Well, you were just in California too. It's your
I
fault. No,
was.
but so tell us a little bit about, for you, like what is your favorite winter food? I mean, there's the Christmas and the holidays that we're talking about, but winter too. I mean, to me, like bring in the mac and cheese, and I know that goes well with y'all in the South. I want a good mac and cheese. I want all the fatty, cheesy goodness that I can possibly get. Really, like hardcore. Like I could live on it. So what about you, Joe? Since
Oysters.
wait a minute, you got the other guy right there. You got the Colonel Sanders that goes with it, don't you? Don't you have like a different Colonel Sanders in your area that we should all know about? Like
Oh, you
like
mean
one
the
of the
one with
original
the buffet?
a buffet. So I could like mac up. I could get
Yeah,
my
we
mac
got
on.
Colonel Sanders in Georgetown is one of the very few in the country that still or ever had a buffet. So you
Wow, I've
can
never heard of
you
that.
can
That's so
just
cool.
go and pig out all afternoon.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Lisa could get all her mac and cheese that she would ever want.
Okay. Good. And I would like bacon on it. Thank you.
Well, how
You
about
can
Okay.
some
say,
lobster? Do you ever have
oh,
lobster
you,
mac and cheese?
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
good.
that'd be good.
Pretty good.
oh boy, but she wants oysters because this is your season, right?
That's right.
For
It's
that.
oyster season. I had oysters for lunch today. So
Nice.
yeah.
She's
So it
going.
yeah,
My
we went
wife
we
puts
went down
oysters
to
in her. Oh, I'm sorry.
that's all right. What were you
I was
saying?
I was just saying my wife puts oysters in her dressing for Christmas.
Oh, nice. Mama did that one year. We mutinied. Um, she made the best stuffing, and why she just wanted to try something new. And I know that feeling now, but boy, then it was like, what are you doing messing up Thanksgiving?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Really? Did she or not? How did it come out?
It was okay, but it wasn't as good as her usual stuffing.
Oh, how dare
So
she make a move?
yeah, yeah. She changed on us and put oysters in it, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Oysters
Oh
don't
dear.
I just didn't think they belonged in turkey. Now I might change my opinion, but as a
Well, you
child,
haven't tried Jennifer's, Joey's wife's,
that's right.
Yep.
They'll
It's
have
pretty
to
good.
invite me down.
You're invited right now. That's
Okay.
I mean you're welcome anytime. We really I mean we do dressing for Thanksgiving, but we also do it for Christmas. And a lot of people do for the winter holidays and stuff. A lot of people do. I've got friends that are tired of turkey or ham and do prime rib and all kinds of different things for the holidays. But we're still old traditional and we still do the turkey and the dressing for both Thanksgiving and for Christmas. So she does the oysters, and it honestly it's pretty good. We never had it that way before my wife started doing the dressing, but we like it. But I agree with you that if something's a classic and it's perfect, why mess with perfection? Why if it ain't broke,
Right.
don't fix
Don't
it.
if it ain't broke, there you
Yeah,
go.
Well,
yeah.
I hate
But
to tell you what our family does and those kinds of things. We're called rum balls.
Huh.
And that's what
yum.
Nancy and the
Crumbled
rum
up
balls.
crumbled up Nilla wafers and
That's right.
rum.
That's exactly what we did. Nilla
I know how to
wafers.
make those.
See, I knew your
They're
family. I know
yeah,
Joe's family. She's
they're
related in
good.
some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta be.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So,
But
but
yeah,
tell
the
everybody
oysters.
about,
I'm having
yeah.
oyster stew on Christmas morning. So for
Oh,
for
absolutely.
Christmas dinner, I'm ready for prime rib.
Right. That's great.
Oh, you know what I'm doing this year? I'm not of Jewish faith, but our friend Ruth Milstein was on the podcast the other day talking about Hanukkah recipes, and Hanukkah starts on Christmas this year.
Yes.
So I said to her, she got us hooked on latkes many years
Oh
ago.
my
And then
gosh, they're
Nancy and
so
I
good.
started I know, man. And I'm like, I'd make them more Southwestern style. And like, I'm going to put, salt. Don't even start me. It's kind of a crazy thing. But she has a recipe for chicken schnitzel. And I thought I would try and do something decent.
That sounds good.
It's
That
hard
does
as
sound
two
good.
travelers. We travel full time. And I figured like, we're not going to make a turkey. We're not going to make it's Nancy and I, I thought, well, 2 little chicken breasts, we can do that, but then I have to beat the breast. I don't know about that, but I might enjoy it. I don't know, maybe get some aggression out for the rest of the year,
It helps.
but
Yeah.
but Ruth Milstein's book is Cooking with Love, so I got to maybe gently beat the breast. But
Yeah.
I've never had to do that, but I'm going to do that. And,
Oh, that's easy. You can flatten those things right down.
Get your roll pin.
well, I'm holding on to my babies right now as you said that, Joe. That's what they said when I was going through puberty, but no. Uh-oh. Alert. But yeah, it's I think there's traditions. Like Nancy and I have a tradition. We always have our bubblies. We don't care what it is. I mean, and we're always traveling, so we're always somewhere new, and you never know what you can get, what you can't get. But we always like to have our bubblies, and we do a nice brunch. That's our main thing. We don't do the dinnery stuff as much as the brunch. somehow we've done like pizza night over Christmas and we make our own pizzas. And we love to make our own pizzas. Like there's nothing like making your own pizza. Now that has nothing to do with everybody else's traditions, but it's
But
ours.
it's yours.
Yeah.
Corned beef was another one. Corned beef. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Corned beef because Nancy wants to douse it in whiskey. And mustard on the top with some cloves at the end. At the end, you do all that. And it's really good. It's really good. So this,
Sounds
and
good.
because that's her way of having a Reuben because she loves
Yeah.
a Reuben
Oh,
sandwich.
a
And I
good
can make,
Reuben's. Yeah, man.
anything that's deli work, bring to me. I can do salads and I can do sandwiches and I can do pizzas. That's my three things that I can really do well. What are your three things, Joe? If someone comes to your house and okay. Oh, I got four because I could do chili really well. But what are your main things? Like someone's coming over the holiday season, you're like, oh crap. Someone's just, pop up. You know how people do the pop ups. What is your go-to, that you can make, over the winter season, like holiday winter season that you're not going to fail on? What's your no
Well,
fail?
of
Well,
course,
she's Joe, so there's no fail.
my oyster stew, of course, Mama's recipe
Oh,
for oyster stew. Um, I like to cook salmon, so different ways. Sometimes I'll just spread black pepper and basil on top and put it in
basil.
the yeah,
Sorry.
put it in the George Foreman and grill it. It's also
Go
really
George.
good with honey and sweet chili. Um, all kinds of ways to fix salmon that work out well.
Now, you say salmon. You actually pronounce the L. I thought we're
Salmon,
not supposed to. I don't know anything about
salmon.
fish.
I don't
You're
know.
supposed to say,
Salmon just sounds kind of
are we getting
strange.
into this again? Look, Joey, how do you say it? I just want to know if this is a
I'm
Southern
afraid
thing.
I say salmon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Salmon.
you're going to be like that. He's going to be
I'm,
like
I'm,
that.
I'm just going to be
He is.
contrary.
Yeah, he's going to be opposite through the entire rest of this
Opposite. Absolutely.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she did say basil, and I know you say basil, don't you?
Basil.
You
I do
know.
say basil. Yeah. But I do like basil faulty.
Yeah. Not to digress, but I did see at a rest area on our travels recently, we stopped and we did, people do yoga and we may see Joe, Clark doing yoga at a rest area if she's on a road trip.
You
She does
might.
beach yoga. So we always get entertained by people doing their exercises, but one person, I should have filmed them. Oh my God. They did the Basil Fawlty. Anybody's watched Basil of Fawlty Towers? This is it. Do the Basil Fawlty walk, which is also like a John Cleese walk. It's in everything.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did the
silly
walk
walk. Yeah. Yeah.
to wake up and get his body moving and circulating. And Nancy and I almost wet our pants in the car. I won't tell you why I have a towel under my seat now. But anyway, he did the full on thing. He did it.
That's
He did it.
amazing.
But I'm going to go back to, so Joe's making her salmon. She's got her oyster stew. So
Salmon,
she's got a
oyster stew.
seafood. Are you going to do like the 7 fishes of Christmas? Isn't that something? The 7 things of Christmas?
I think
7.
that's a thing, but I've never done it.
Sounds like you could do it though.
I
You got the
could.
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
What's
sitting here thinking that we've got the shrimp are running, and so I've been getting fresh shrimp off the boat. He comes in about 1 or 2 each day, and we can go down and get bags of
wow.
shrimp. And I made some really good scampi the other night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So you did get to meet Forrest Gump then.
a friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Forrest Gump. I mean, come on, shrimp boats. I'm just saying.
I
So
do like
that's
shrimp
really
boat.
cool. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I love that you're eating from, your region and that
He's
you are,
actually, his name's Charlie. His name's Charlie, and
well,
his boat is the Lila Lee.
oh, I like that.
Very
Because
southern.
all good Southern shrimp boats have to have 2 names. So the Lila Lee.
I like it.
I like it too. Now, Joey in the kitchen, this
Yeah.
could be dangerous, blind man with a knife. I
Yeah.
just saw you on a Facebook thing. I don't know. All your stuff comes up, both of you. I got all the dirt on you. Joey apparently
We've got to be more careful, Joey. She
I
knows
know.
too much.
She does.
Yeah.
We may have to do something about that.
But apparently, blind man making a sandwich can happen.
Oh yeah. Somebody was saying that they'd seen an ad for a sandwich maker that was a conveyor belt, and they were wondering what the world was coming to, and then how hard is it to make a sandwich? I was like, well, I mean, my sandwiches are functional; they're just not pretty. They work. You can eat them. I mean, but they're not. If you're expecting
be a little messy.
Yeah, if you're expecting some sort of culinary, masterpiece that looks good as well as tastes good, then that might be a problem there. I mean, I just grab a piece of bread and slap something on it. I mean, I just don't. But I mean, my mom is like her sandwiches are pieces of art. I mean, she cuts them in half diagonally, and they're toasted just so, and everything's even with the bread, and it's just, I mean, it's a whole thing. And so it's really
and
good.
You're not sure what you've slapped on the bread.
I just have to just hope for the best. I try not to have to do much in the kitchen. I really don't do much in the kitchen. I rely on my mom. Doesn't really cook like she much anymore, but because she's got a bad back. But when Jennifer's feeling well, she cooks a lot, and we have a lot of fun. And her holiday things that she would make if we had guests. That she's kind of famous for, depending on the time of day they come. She does a mean chili, and she just puts it on the crock pot, and does a really great chili. Cool. So she does, and that's something that you don't really eat during the summertime. I tend not to. We tend to have chili. In fact, we have chili on Christmas Eve. That's our Christmas Eve.
Oh,
meal.
you're a part of my family then too.
Yeah, we do chili on Christmas Eve.
I already knew that, but
chili and cornbread. You gotta have the cornbread.
Oh, and, this is what I was missing out. It was the cornbread.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's really good.
Do you make crackling cornbread or just plain?
It's just sort of standard cornbread, but it's real buttery and good. My wife used to work at Opryland, and she worked in the one of the restaurants where their main thing was they were famous for their cornbread. So she has that recipe that they used at Opryland, and boy, it's the best cornbread around. But it's sort of it's thicker cornbread. It's not the real thin stuff. And then she also does a really mean cheese ball. And she puts cheese and Worcestershire and pecans. And she does a lot of different does the cheese ball. And then the other thing that I think is really important, I love coffee. And there's nothing like having different seasonal coffees for the holidays, and and having just a good brew of coffee or hot chocolate if you prefer. But just a real well done pot of coffee, maybe with some seasonal flavors in it. There's all kinds of fun flavors you can try. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But it's fun.
Well, I love the coffee part because there's coffee, there's hot chocolate. Now, I will say I had a pumpkin spice this morning, and I get, sometimes I'm kind of a purist.
Yeah.
Because coffee is like, you drink coffee for the taste of good coffee.
Right.
So then here we come and we start messing with it.
Right.
But then I found it really helps to make a good toddy in the morning if you have to shovel snow, which you guys don't seem to have to worry about where you
Not
live.
on a regular basis.
No,
not ever.
Yeah.
So I love what you're talking about though, because coffee, it's like that hot cup where it jolts you up, and if you do have to go do something, you can. But Joe, what about you? Coffee, is that a thing for you? Because I thought you did yoga on the beach. I would have to have coffee before yoga.
No, not a coffee drinker. Water and wine. Occasional hot chocolate, but lactate intolerant, or lactose intolerant. So I have to pace myself if I get into hot chocolate. But we can talk hot mulled cider and hot mulled wine.
True.
Oh, we had the Christmas parade was Saturday, and we went down to a friend's and went up on her balcony to watch the parade from a bird's eye view and took a big thermos of hot mulled wine, and it was very tasty.
That sounds good.
That sounds good. I do. It does sound
Yeah.
good. And that kind of goes into European traditions too. Well, what's so interesting about the South is the amalgamation of cultures. And I think that's what makes me love your region so much. I love places that embrace culture and live
We've
in
got it all.
harmony, because that means you're eating good food. If you have good food, you have good music. You have good music, you have good food. They go hand in hand. What do you say, Joey?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why there's so many wonderful festivals that are built around food and music. You have they're wonderful sort of companions to each other, which is great. And you can go and have a nice some sort of nice thing. I love, as I say, during the wintertime, the sort of the German sort of Christmas dishes, the sausage, the hot drink and that sort of thing. People do candied fruit during this time of year. Like sometimes they'll do caramel apples, which is a lot of fun. People think about that for Halloween, but it's also Christmas time as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun to have great music and great food, and holiday music's some of my favorite music. I mean, some of the best tunes out there are
Definitely.
holiday. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just some of the best melodies. Deck the Halls, such a great melody. Good King's Wenceslas. I mean, all these wonderful melodies. The Nutcracker, which is real dear to my heart because as a child, my mom was one of the producers of the Nutcracker in Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I grew up, and she helped put it on with some different civic organizations. And I mean, they took it seriously, man. They had it at the big theater in town, and they had like a professional choreographer from Russia come in and choreograph it and all this stuff. They took it seriously, and that was a big part of my childhood. She did that every year for years. I can't remember how long, but I mean, it must have been at least 5-6 years that she did that. And so thinking about great music, like the Nutcracker, that's always been a big part of our holiday tradition. And then you go into like the Christmas fair, and just trying to get out and about. And I like the cold weather. I don't like it like so cold that you think you're going to die, but I like a brisk cool weather and to be all wrapped up and warm.
Well, how is it after Christmas? Because we always keep talking about the Christmas side of it, but the true winter is January and February.
Yeah.
And then the festivities are over. Some people keep their lights on forever. And
Yeah.
then we're all going, okay, we've got a couple of holidays, Martin Luther King Day is coming up. We got, oh my gosh, Valentine's Day.
My birthday.
That should be a national holiday right there.
Right
It
there.
is. She just said it.
Yeah.
And she said pecans, for her birthday. But I think when we look at winter, we got to look at the whole season. And somehow that's where I think people get into this, like, oh, we're going to do these resolutions. We have New Year's, of course,
Yeah, of course.
One of my favorites, because it's kind of this weird idea of like turning the page, even though nature doesn't care what you're doing. Like really the way the world works does not go by our Gregorian calendar.
Sure.
It doesn't. And I don't know if we have a Gregorian calendar. As I said that, did I have the right calendar? I was just doing this thing on a calendar.
You're thinking of the Julian calendar, I think. But
Yeah. I got myself all twirled. And there's weird calendar stuff that goes on where we missed entire days, y'all. That's why like February's weird and leap year and all that screwy stuff that messes with our heads. But, yeah, man, I think January and February, it can be tough because now it's back to work. We had the season of joy, still dark, but we added light. We had friends, family. Sometimes it's a depressing time of year, but January and February can be rough for people in that, oh, we go back to work. Now we're going to do our goals. And then it's like, oh, we're going to lose weight. We're going to eat salad. Really? You're going to eat salad in January? Okay. I'm glad you live in Florida or Hawaii or, in the tropics. But, so it can be, we've got to keep our festivity rolling forward past the New Year's Eve thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We got to keep the happy train moving. And I think music is part of that. Joe, what happens in your area Now, I know we just did that podcast about Christmas. And I mean, I love this that you can just go down that marsh walk that you have and order drinks from one place to the other, listen to music, look at the
Yeah, we
swamp.
did the
And
Santa
I
crawl,
mean, music. And I mean, that's some
but
cool stuff.
it's there all winter. The restaurants on the Marsh Walk have the back side of their building is where most of the bands are. And
Bands are always in the backside.
yeah,
Uh-oh.
but on the Marsh Walk, you're walking down the Marsh Walk and you're on the side of the back of the building. The front of the building faces the road and the parking lots
Hmm.
are up there, and back on the water is where you have the boardwalk. And so
That's
you
when the
walk
good stuff's
along and
going on.
listen to music, and you can just walk up
I
to
love
any
it.
one of them and have a drink.
But to me, the music, that's part of it. I think, when we've done like areas like the Pacific Northwest in the winter, which can get you down. Because if you're someone like I was raised on the equator, so I have a hard time with the dark winter thing.
Yeah.
But I find beauty in it. When you get out there, you find beauty. But I really believe in the power of music. And I think you can play Christmas music throughout January if you want, and February. It's up to you. Joe, like, does your music scene continue past Christmas with bands playing in January, February, March kind of thing into spring?
Oh yeah, the bands are playing all the time. There's most of the restaurants here, even though there are not that many tourists, that's the perfect time for the locals to get out and go to restaurants and bars that have live music. And they they may not have them every night of the week like they might
Mm.
in the summer during tourist season, but in the winter we're still the weekends, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for sure they're going to have bands at a lot of the places. The vineyard has live music on just about every weekend on Saturday. And when it's cold, we just have fire and big drums, and you just bundle up and you still go have hot mulled wine and listen to the bands. Um, it's we don't get that cold here. We may have, like I jokingly said, yeah, I like winter at the beach all 2 weeks. Um, we really don't have terrible freezing weather, but a few weeks, which is nice. And when we have really cold spell, 2 days later, we're back up in the 60s and everybody's happy again.
Mm. Well, that's the thing. You go through these cycles and I say embrace it and do what you can with it. Joey, what do you think about music for winter to get you out of the winter blues? Come on, you got to play some blues.
Yeah, I I actually like January and look forward to it because I feel like even though it's something we've created in our minds, it's the beginning of a new year. There's a whole new
Hmm.
year of
A
adventure,
new chapter. Yeah.
and it's exciting to think, well, what's going to happen next, and I'm looking forward to all the new things that are going to happen in the new year, and I don't know everything. My schedule's fairly open at first, and I don't know what's going to happen. But I get smart. It gets cold here in Macon. Like I say, it's not beach weather, but it's as Joe says, here in the South, we don't get the weather doesn't usually get real freezing, but I every January, last week in January, first week in February, I'm always in California, and so I'm always at NAMM and the Grammys, and so that's a big thing that's exciting for me. And so, boy, I mean, in California, the weather is perfect until they have some sort of crazy mudslide or earthquake or something. But otherwise the weather's so great. But it's like it's like really good 99% of the time, and when it's not good, it's really really bad. But yeah, I love the winter months because I think of it's just so exciting. There's all something new going on. As far as the music scene, well, it doesn't really change that much here. Um, we have sort of seasons. We have a steady downtown bar scene. that stays going Thursday through Saturday kind of thing. We have something called a First Friday. So that's the first Friday of every month all year long, where there's extra entertainment downtown, out on the streets and out in the parks and all over, and even in venues where there typically isn't music during the rest of the year or during the rest of the month. There's always music in these different locations, like record stores and places like that. And then, here at my studio, of course, we work all day long. So I'm surrounded by music, virtually 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I'm always surrounded by it because I'm always making it, in the studio. So there's a lot of wonderful, music. And I actually, interestingly enough, for those people that are into holiday music, when we start recording holiday records, we start recording holiday records usually in about May, because all the holiday movies and films want to have those things in their hands by July, so that they can be in the holiday movies and films and stuff like that by November. So we start thinking about holiday music, in May. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, so it's a lot of fun. So I play holiday music all the way through to New Year's Eve, and then we start doing it again in May. And from May on, we're doing holiday music, either listening to it or playing it. But yeah, I definitely think you should keep the party rolling all year long.
I want to say, I definitely like it with the twinkly lights. That's also part of it. But the music, you've got a wonderful Christmas playlist, and we've got that linked in the episode notes for everyone, as well as, we have another one that we've done over the last couple years. It's got Joey's music in there. So many musicians that have been on our shows in the past, and also like Johnny Schaefer. You met Johnny at the Grammys. You and Johnny, met.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
I was in town for the Grammys, and I asked Johnny. I was playing a show at the Mint, and I said, "Hey, Johnny, you want to come see me play at the Mint?" And he came out the Mint, and then we went and had dinner, and it was a blast.
You guys met each other before you even meet us. I mean, come on. You come on our podcast, become friends.
I know.
Meet without us. That's fine, But hey,
Just
we're going
ignore
back.
us.
It's an
I
unfair
know.
world.
We tried to meet Joe, but that didn't work on time. But we'll get
That's her
there.
fault.
Well, but we're going to have a Southern party. I feel like we need to have like a Big Blend radio party, like as we
We
travel.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Pick a place that's central, and we can all drive to wherever it is.
Well, I'm thinking your studio for like running the podcast. What do you think,
Do it,
Joey?
I'm all about it. Let's do it.
I mean, we could give some, Macon, Georgia, some good travel love, right, Joe? Come on now.
That's true.
I'm thinking Macon, Georgia's got some. I know, and you got Waffle Houses, and so if there's a Waffle House, I'm going.
We do have some Waffle Houses.
You have Tom Rule. Is Tom Rule on your Christmas playlist?
He is.
Of course he is. He's got to be.
Yeah,
Tom Rule is a Waffle Houser. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He comes on your Joey Stuckey shows that we've done over the years of your Joey Stuckey Day. And, I feel like this year has been hectic around the world.
Yeah.
And across the country. And it's, things are wrong in the world, obviously. And that's never not been, right? We've never had a perfect world. And the thing is, going into the new year and embracing winter, which is dark, and it is about turning on a light. Our friend Shelley Wizen, a transformational coach, wrote an article about how to be the light. Whenever it's the darkest, it's your time to be the light. No matter how small your light is, the darker it is, your little light is going to be brighter. And we can do it individually. And that's something about winter is I kind of feel like it's a challenge. Let's make light wherever we go. There's political unrest, there's wars, there's all kinds of stuff, there's weather issues, whatever. How do we become a light? What would you say about that, Joe, for folks to be the light? I think it's so important. And in winter, we need to, as much as we can. What would be one way that you would be the light, as an example?
Just to be able to get out and walk in the sunshine. I would encourage people. I walk every day, but I'm retired and I'm able to finagle my time around low tide, and I walk on the beach. But in the dark days, it's important for your mental sanity to have sunlight. It's an important vitamin that we need, and people should get out at lunch and just enjoy the sunshine on their face for 10 minutes. It makes a big difference in your mental sanity for me.
I agree with you 100%. Nancy and I just had this amazing opportunity. We, you both know Nancy and I work insane these stupid hours, and we had some travel schedule changes, and next thing you know, we're like, oh my gosh, here we are on the road with a full day ahead of us. What are we going to do? Oh, here, wild horses are here in Arizona. Let's go see if we can find them. We found their poo, not the horse. And it was on National Horse Day. But we went out, but we were close, and I'm sunburned, believe it or not, and it's winter. I'm sunburned. And we went out, and I want to talk about the power of music too on this. We went out all through the Tonto National Forest. The birds came to us because we chill out. We have our picnics and a little wine. Anyway, don't tell the park rangers. All through on the Salt River, and went from stop to stop to stop where you could. And it was so gorgeous. It was like the best sunshine day. And Nancy and I sat down at this one place at Saguaro Lake, or Lake Saguaro, doesn't matter. We sat down, we both looked at each other, and we're like, oh my God, we're rebooting. I can feel it. I can feel the reboot, the recharge of being in nature and surrounded by birds and nature. And then as on our way out, because we need to get to the next destination, we're driving out, we did other stops to see if the horses were there, and just to see the change in the rocks because of geological formations and everything. And I went to do a photograph of this one mountain, and I'm like, Nancy, there's music. There's an Indian playing music. This is Indian stuff. And lo and behold, we went down to the next place where we could stop, and it was an Indian on his little fishing boat singing and playing traditional music.
Oh, how neat.
And we're right at a reservation, the Gila Reservation. And I felt like, okay, my soul is blessed. And, this was also at the full moon time and everything. I can't even tell you how I don't know. We got moonshine. There was, the night before a meteor shower, and we saw fox during the meteor shower, like kind of cool stuff. But like this music, it was in harmony with what was going on within nature, and it drew people. People were all like, wow, here's this dude on his boat. And Nancy and everything in my soul just felt like, okay, I'm at total 100% peace. Nature all day, sunshine.
All's right with the world.
It was this moment. Now, then you get in your car and you turn on the news and you're like, ah, crap. But so, but that's the thing. It is those moments. And I always think like I want to go there with that, because I think winter is hard for people. Joey, what do you think about that? Last time we were talking about Native American music, and then I just had this music, we were so lucky to encounter that. You know what I mean? It was just
it's
special.
Amazing. That is special. And getting out in the world and getting out, just being around other beings, being around nature is a great way to recharge. My process is a little different because I can't drive myself or anything like that. I mean, you can take an Uber, I suppose. But navigating mobility, that kind of thing is a little bit more challenging when you can't see where you're going. But I always do little things, just little small things that maybe take 2-3 minutes sometimes, or half an hour. I do these things that recharge my spirit, that remind me how blessed I am, and that remind me to be happy. And whether it's watching like a favorite TV show for 30 minutes that makes me laugh or smile, because I'm a big comedy fan.
Basil Fawlty.
Absolutely. Take that, watch that for 30 minutes, or maybe it's eating one of the mince pies that reminds me of when I was in the UK and having, out during Christmas time, or, just anything small like that. So I remind myself of the blessings I have, and then I go out and try to share that blessing with everybody else through being a good friend, or through just a random phone call to say I love you, or whatever it is like that, or sometimes playing music to an audience, helping them recharge by playing music, and sad songs are even powerful tools for positive change, and because it helps us realize that we're not alone, and that through the dark times there are other people that can empathize with what we've been through, even if they can't totally understand 100%. What you've gone through. There's connection there. And so I think going out and sharing music is also a great way to stay connected, and through connection to shine a light, because human beings need that connection with nature and with other living beings. And the best way I know to do that is through music. So yeah, I absolutely agree with all that everybody said.
I love it. I love it. Now let's talk about New Year's resolutions. Do you do them, Joey? Do you ever do that, or do you sit down and do goals according to, what is your process on that?
I don't really. I do have a running list of things I want to change in my life in my head, but I work on them all year long, and I pick one thing at a time, because if you try to make these great sweeping changes, you'll get frustrated, you'll get tired, and they won't
quit in 3 weeks.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I work on things like, this sounds really silly, but one of the things I never have really done, I've never really flossed my teeth before. Like my gums are real sensitive and they bleed, and the dentists are like, oh, well, they'll toughen up. Don't worry about it. So to have better dental health, I made a goal of flossing my teeth 3 times a week. And, I'm starting to stick to that. So now I'm setting small, attainable goals. And so I do that all throughout the year, So once I get that down and I make that into a habit, I make it a part of my life that I don't have to think about it. It's not a challenge anymore. It's not a chore anymore. Once I get that sort of settled down, then I'll pick the next thing that I want to try and change, and I'll do it slowly like that.
I love this because inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard. It takes a pebble to get to the top of the mountain, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is not an overnight thing. And I think that's where people have lofty goals. And I'm like, oh, go for it. But understand all the little steps, and understand that you should rejoice in every little step, every
victory. Absolutely.
Every victory. Yes. Every step, every victory. The fact that you took the step, you can go, I did the step. I'm a Virgo, so I'm annoying, and I'm a list person.
Oh, I love lists. I'm a big list fan. Oh my
God. I create a new list every single day. It's annoying. It's like, all right, well, you sucked yesterday, but you better do it today, and, do all that. But it's always this running list. And so I'm always, it doesn't feel like in the new year, I always go like, all right, this is what I want to do. But it's the same thing, actually. Nothing has really changed other than maybe I need to start jogging or something. But that's not good for my ankles.
I like having a list, and then I like checking things off my list, and then I feel a great sense of catharsis, a great sense of joy by deleting my list that I'm done. When I'm done with it.
The delete button is fantastic.
So much fun.
Nancy should just have a big red blow up button. She did it at the meteor crater in Arizona by Flagstaff. There's a meteor crater, and they show how the meteor comes and blows up things, and like how boom, you got this big hole. And she did this game that they had on this. It was kind of like a arcade game almost. And she got to blow it all up. And she's like, I did it. I blew it all up. You both know Nancy. She's like, I'll blow this stuff up. Yeah. And she's all like, she loves the delete button. But I want to go to you, Joe. What about you with New Year's goals, resolutions? What you seem, I'm just going to say as a friend and a person who's been talking with you for a while now, you really seem to go for it in that this is who I am, and I'm just going to incorporate it into my life. I'm going to travel as much as I can. I'm going to keep my beach yoga. It seems that your life is like a lifestyle, not like if you're going to, like we talk about that, like who cares about diets, rather create a dietary lifestyle. It seems to me that you do that with your wine. I'm just kidding, teasing you. But you know what I mean? It seems that you just go like, let me just make it my lifestyle and get on with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I do have, I set goals. And I'm a list maker too. And I love
Oh,
If I don't have a list, it'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I go, I'm nuts. I forgot, and there's something I was going to do and should have done earlier in the day. And by 3, I'm over it. It can go on tomorrow's list.
3 o'clock is wine time, basically, is what
Yeah,
she's saying.
3 o'clock, you're winding down and getting ready to wind down.
Yeah.
And
Wind down
depending
and wind
on
up.
and depending on the tide, it may be time to go walk. Today I walked at 2:30 because that was low tide. I hate walking in the deep, loose sand. It's too hard, and I'd rather walk down near the water where it's good, firm sand, and I make pretty good time. And I'm walking 3 miles a day, and so I guess my goal,
Wow. You're
yeah,
amazing.
I know
You have
I
to
was
come
only
on our
doing
1 hour
2.
walk. You need to be part of our 1 hour walk group. Do you know that? We have a Facebook group just for that.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I walk more than an hour. It's more like, I guess Jan and I walk about 90 minutes a day now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because we walk almost to the Garden City Pier and turn and come back. And the day we decided we're finally going to make it, and I know I'm the holdout. I'm the one that doesn't make it to the pier. But the day we decided we were going to make it to the pier and we're going to stop and have a mimosa on the pier and then walk
Good
back
girls.
home. And I'm getting
Now
a
they're
reward
crawling
for this.
home, by the way.
The
They're
day
crawling
I
home.
make it, that's the day that they have decided that they're going to be closed in the winter for the next 2 months on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
No mimosas?
Oh,
Oh.
mimosa. So
What are you doing now? Are you having wine right now? You are. I know you are. Oh
Who,
my
me?
gosh. Yeah, you got to be. Well, no, but this.
Well, I mean,
isn't that
we
true?
started at 5 o'clock. What do you think?
Oh, well, there you go, girl. But this is so amazing. Like, I love that you're doing this, and you've really inspired me because we even have the domain name, onehourwalk.com, and it'll take you to our Facebook group. And it was so
Well, I
busy,
will have to look
especially
that up.
during COVID. And we started this because going to national parks, there were people that said, "Oh, I don't do parks because, I'm not a hiker." And I'm like, every national park has a place for everybody. And Joey knows this, that we're working on a whole other side of what we do of accessibility and, recording sounds for those who, are vision impaired, can listen to a park, which is becoming God, Joey, it's so hard because there's so much. The more now you've made me, our conversations and everything, I'm listening in every park we go to. And no matter where we are, like I should have recorded that man playing, right, in his fishing boat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was so many airplanes and so much traffic. And I hate to say it, but like it's getting difficult unless you go way out in the boonies, which I'm ready to do. But, we started the 1 hour walk group, for your heart. Dr. Jackie, who's a cardiologist that comes on our show every third Wednesday, second Wednesday. She is always, she's an advocate of this. She says 150 minutes of walking a week will it will help you reverse the effects of heart disease of whatever you're doing negatively in your life. And that's what you need for your heart. In basic cardio, it's actually one of the healthiest things, yoga with what you do, Joe, and walking. And at the same time, she's on our shows and we're doing these parks. Some people are like, we can't go unless we're hikers. I'm like, no, there are walking paths for everyone. You could be in a stroller, a wheelchair. You can be blind. You could be deaf. You can be anything that's going on. You could be a mom with 3 kids trying to, tangle them together. There are places, nature walks, easy, accessible places.
Yep.
And so that's why we started 1 hour walk, because we knew if you took a 1 hour walk, it's really getting towards your health. And if you think about it, 2, 3 would get you done for the week. It could be a walk in a museum. It could be a walk in your neighborhood. It could be, so
walk in a mall.
That's our whole thing. Go ahead.
We had a walk, a group that walked. They were called the mall walkers, and it was mapped out, and they even had their little lines around the outer edge of the entire shopping mall where they would go and walk and get their steps in
That's
bad
what they
weather.
did in Florida when we used to work in the, the musical organ. I have to differentiate there. In Florida, the organ industry, mall walkers were there. We were in malls, we were selling and teaching organs, musical organ playing. And, they were mall walking and I didn't get it. Like I was like in my not even 20s and I'm like, what's with this? And you know what? It was so right to do. Joey, for you, being blind, it's going to be hard to be able to do that kind of walking, right? That much, but
it's
you
tricky
can get out
to,
there.
yeah, it's tricky to go by yourself, because, people don't watch where they're going, and
Right.
people are looking at their phones and they're not paying attention to the guy that can't see them coming or anything like that. So that's a little tricky. But what I do is I go up and down the stairs a lot in my home, and I purposely walk further than I have to do stuff. So if I'm making coffee in the morning, I will purposely walk as far as I can away from the trash can. So if I bring my coffee over to the like that, like sometimes we use K-Pods or sometimes we do grounds or whatever it is. But I'll purposely walk as far around as I can to get extra steps, and I'll purposely okay, I'll throw away these sugar packets now. Okay, now I'm going to throw away the creamer packets now. So
Right.
I give myself a little extra walk. Like okay, I could do a shortcut here, or I could do things that are convenient, but I set myself a little task so that I have to walk more.
Well, that is every step counts, right?
Yeah.
And, that's the thing, the 1 hour walk. And I have to say this last year, I totally screwed up. I mean, and it's kind of, we're going to, that is my goal of this 2025 is to get this group back rocking and rolling and then some certain members of the group passed away and it kind of felt sad and we still kept going in his name, but like, honestly, we need to do it because it's good. And so Joey,
It is.
like when Nancy and I see you again, we'll take you like somewhere cool to walk in nature and you'll be safe and fine. Because if anyone does anything, I'll take them out. Cause
absolutely you will.
But I want to tell people, like when we got to see Joey, he took us around his studio, which is this entire historic building from the outside through everywhere. And like this dude was like doing all the passcodes and everything quicker than the system could do. I mean, it's amazing how much ability you have when people may not think you do,
Yeah, yeah.
And it was really amazing to see. You knew everything. You know every step in your building. You know where you are. There's like, you know what's going on. And it was amazing to me, like where people may not think that. And that's what's so important about looking at accessibility in parks, public lands. It's there. And that's our thing. We're going to be putting maps up and lists and links and everything for people. And I don't know how maps are very good in the accessibility department if you're blind. I don't think that helps you as much, right, Joey? But
typically not, at least not me.
Yeah.
I mean,
you ain't going to drive them.
but the word blind is a very large umbrella. And the blind experience is very, very different from person to person. So you have people that are blind that can see a little bit. You have people that are blind that can't see anything. You have people. So sometimes the maps, especially if they have good color contrast or something like that, might actually be helpful for somebody. So I don't know. You never know. But I think that, generally speaking, what works best is like turn by turn direction kind of idea, like walk forward 13 steps and turn left. It's like, that kind of thing is at least for me, that's what's helpful.
Oh, very cool. So Joe, are you ready to go on the 1 hour walk like craze with me next year? I need a buddy. We got to do it across the country, around the world. I know you travel. We can do 1 hour walks everywhere, right? You did them in the Azores in Portugal. You do them in your home.
I get in a lot of walking wherever I am, but
all right. I'm recruiting you.
The days that I do my yoga, I usually don't walk because I'm tied up an hour or more doing yoga.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This year I may start trying to get in maybe 30 more minutes of walking the days that I have yoga.
Mm.
That might be my goal. After yoga, walk 30 minutes.
Shake it off. Shake off that stretching. Shake it
Yeah,
off, you know.
I've been wanting to get into yoga. That would be one of my goals for the new year.
Woo.
Oh, I wish you were here. We could walk on the beach and you could do yoga on the beach with us.
Man, I would adore it. I would
I'm
You
adore
telling
it.
would. You would love it here, and you would love my yoga teachers. I
Well,
go to
you better be
Ah,
careful because I might show up on your doorstep one day. You never
you
know.
know, Joey's like this. I think I'm feeling we might have to have a big blend party in Myrtle Beach, one in
I
Macon.
agree.
We might
And
have to just do a roving.
a roving
Oh,
party.
a roving party. Yeah.
Yeah.
and we'll go to Asheville and see our friends up there that, you know, at the Lion and Rose Bed and Breakfast.
Can we rent one of those big buses?
Somebody else is driving.
Oh
Not
yeah,
me.
I'm not driving.
That
No,
sock
No,
monkey better
Joey
not be
can. He's got a
driving.
song, Blind Man Driving.
that's right. The sock monkey
But
does drive.
Priscilla. Yeah,
Priscilla.
she does. She can drive it. It's good. Well, listen, everyone. Happy winter. Thank you so much for the fun. As we go around, I want to just from each of you, one song, one movie that depicts winter for you, even if it's in the holiday season. One song, one movie.
Ooh.
Joe, what for you? What's the one for you? One song, one movie.
Well, it's Christmas, so I'm still stuck in that mode. So I'm White Christmas. And the first movie that it was in was not White Christmas. It was Holiday Inn. And I
Mm.
love Holiday Inn, but I also love Christmas in Connecticut.
Oh, that's a great one.
All right. You go, girl. Everybody, Joe Clark is on Big Blend Radio every second Sunday with her Joe Goes Everywhere podcast. So check that out. And keep up with her at recipestravelculture.com. Yeah, recipes are there. She's got them. And go to haveglasswilltravel.com. So Joey, who is here every fourth Sunday, it's been fun. Joey, it's been a year, right? That we've been doing this? Just over a
Yeah.
year? I can't even count. I can't count. I drink wine. You don't. I'll drink yours.
I can't count on a musician, so that's
Well, no, I can count on musicians because they can count. Except for once we had a rhythm guitarist who said, "There's no such thing as 3/4 time." I'm like, "You're out.
Oh boy.
You're fired." So Joey, music and movie for the winter.
We've watched a spade of holiday movies every year. We watch the same ones over and over and over again. But the one that we have to watch every year, sometimes we're so busy we can't fit them all in. There's about 20 of them that we like to watch. But we always have to, one way or the other, watch, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just such a great film. I have a DVD version of it. I have a digital version on my Apple, and I also have the remastered Blu-ray version. So I even have multiple versions of this thing. Songs, there's so many amazing holiday songs. I mean, it's so hard to pick one, but I have to go with the classic Jingle Bells. That's just a happy, fun song. That's just one of the most cheerful songs I know. And it's just a lot of fun. And
you got one.
Yeah.
You did it.
I did it, and I did this sort of funk version, and I brought back some lyrics from the late '40s. I don't know the origin of the lyrics, but it was Glenn Miller Orchestra was doing a live broadcast during World War II, and they did a version of Jingle Bells with a second verse about down in Mexico they ain't got no snow, and I brought that. I've remembered that for eons, and when I decided to do my version of Jingle Bells, I brought that verse back and did it. So anyway, love that song.
I love it.
You
There
need
it
to
is.
put the link to that song somewhere, Lisa, so that everybody can
It's
hear
there.
that.
It's in the music playlist that's in the episode
All
notes,
right.
everyone. It is there.
Yes.
And also go to joeystuckey.com to keep up with him. And Joey is on Facebook, and that's the best place for you, right, Joey?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on X and TikTok, but I don't post there as much.
All right. Well, everyone, keep up with Joey, joeystuckey.com. I gave you all of Joe's podcast links, or not podcast, but website links, her podcast. Everything is linked in the episode notes. Happy winter to everybody. Happy winter, Joe and Joey. We had the Joe and Joey show today. This is amazing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Whenever
you guys were
it's a
on
good
that
show.
before.
Yeah,
Last time we
so
did
cool.
it. Well, we didn't have Mama Babushka to give you, readings today, but
That's true.
She'll come back in the new year because you may need them in the new year.
You may.
We might.
We might need the Mama Babushka to give us some readings. But happy holidays, everyone!
Look for my recipe. You mentioned recipes, and I didn't get that mentioned.
Oh,
I have a new cocktail that I will have the recipe on my website, the Rudolph cocktail. And it
Nice.
has a red nose.
Oh, and you'll get the red nose once you drink it. Exactly.
Yeah, well, more than just your nose may be red by the time you finish.
Okay, well, I'm like, okay, don't get me
We
started.
served them at our Christmas party, and they were a huge hit.
All right. So everybody walked around with red noses, red faces. Is something burning like the Ring of Fire kind of Johnny Cash thing? I just want to make sure before I drink it. Like,
No,
you know exactly where I'm going, Joey. You so know me.
I do.
So, like, how hot is this hot or is it just toasty liquory? Where are we going with this?
the Rudolph.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's vanilla vodka and chocolate liqueur and cream, and then a maraschino cherry on the side of the glass.
Oh, there it is. See, now this is very similar to a barman's belch that I created years ago. Oh, no, it's like this is a year, like I learned this in South Africa as a teenager. Just don't tell Nancy, but she knows. It's got, we had what's called Nacht music over there, which is like Godiva, vodka, and then there was a Bailey's. Yeah, really.
Bailey's in it.
It tastes so good, but you need a driver. All I'm saying, but it was good. It was really this beautiful, decadent drink, and then people would go to have a second one, and that's when they learned they shouldn't, because it's so rich and it is
so there's
powerful.
a limit of one.
Yeah, I would say so, because those who did more, because you just didn't think it was that rich. Like, you can only have so much eggnog before, like, that's a little too much. Like, really. But yeah, anyway, Barman's Belch, and the name tells you that. So just stick to the one is all I'm saying. Oh my gosh, that has such history. That's a whole other show. But thank you all for being here. Everyone, happy winter. Take care.
Bye.
Happy winter. Bye.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.